So in today's video I thought it will be interesting to see just how much money did I spend on my RX8 in my almost 3 years of ownership. So guys, if you like seeing RX8 tips, maintenance, upgrades and also drift build videos, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because November, December is gonna be really packed, especially in December when I'm gonna start uploading 3 times per day because things will get intense. So let's start the video in a chronological order from the day I bought the car until today. So I bought the car for 3,800 euros of the Mazda Rx8 forum. I went to take it up in the north of Slovenia where there's a lot of snow and salt, and obviously a consequence of that is rust. So I brought the car home and started making a list of things that I need to repair, and the first thing on that list was the remote on the key, because it did not work and I was, you know, like a peasant trying to open his car and that really bothered me. So I went and bought an aftermarket kit. So I've installed it, I mean the mechanic installed it, and it cost 130 euros. Then the second thing was the armrest, because it kept moving up and down. It didn't have a fixed point. So I had to order that from the US, and it was with import tax, it was 110 euros. Moving along, the next thing that started bothering me very much was the slow starter. So I went ahead and bought a new engine starter off of eBay, and I've installed it, and I was like, what? This is how an RX8 starts? Are you kidding me? I bought the engine starter for 90 euros on eBay, and almost 3 years later, it's still working amazingly. After that, I decided to restore the steering wheel because it was worn out from top to bottom. It was really unpleasant thing to look at. I wanted my steering wheel to look something special, not the usual restoration of the black and red. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not interesting enough for me. So I had it custom made, and I love it. So having my steering wheel customly reupholstered cost me 130 euros. The next upgrade I did to my RX8 was to install a reversing camera. And that made my life so much easier, so less stressful to park my RX8 in tight spots. So I just can't go back to not having one. So if you still haven't installed a reversing camera on your RX8, I suggest to go check out my video on how to install a reversing camera on your RX8. So how much did I spend on my reversing camera kit? 40 euros. The next thing I did to my RX8 was to buy an aluminum shift knob cover cap. And this was a very good upgrade. I mean, for 26 euros, yeah, 26 euros, you could just glue it on top of the shift knob and it looked brand new. So for the money, it was definitely an upgrade worth doing. I also made a video on how to do it, so if you're interested, there's a link in the description that will take you right to the video. Moving along, the next thing I did was to replace my rear rotors and brake pads. And for the money, they perform pretty well, I guess. I still haven't had any issues with them, so they're okay. The next thing I did was to restore the rims, because it looked like those rims were driving more on the sidewalk than on the street. So I did it myself, I restored it myself. I also have a video if you're interested, and the whole thing cost me around 40 euros. And then my first MOT came, and guess who passed? That's right, the guy with the Clio, because I didn't. My catalytic converter was gutted, I was not told so, so I was surprised, and both my auto sensors were not working. So after I inquired for the original cat, I got quoted 1,400 euros, and damn son. So needless to say, I went on eBay, I researched for a decent cat, and I found a good one for 250 euros new. So I put it on and I passed emissions, and I'm still passing them today. So for 250 euros, ljubi majka. The next thing I did was to coat my rear rotors with a mix of aluminum and zinc, galva, something like that, which will prevent them from rusting. So even if it rains for a couple of days and I take my car on a ride, the surface where the brake pads don't touch will still be clean. So it was definitely worth it. How much did I pay? 20 euros. You can check out the video on how I did it in the description. The next thing I've noticed was that my right xenon bulb was working every now and then. You turn it off on and on a couple of times and maybe it turned on. So I went on eBay and I found a kit that fitted the RX8, and it was 50 euros. Did it work? Amazingly. Worth the money? Totally. I also have a video on how I did it in the description, so check it out. Obviously, in addition to that, I also had to buy a new xenon bulb, so in addition to the 50 euros for the ballast, I had to pay 50 euros for a new xenon bulb. And then came the upgrade that raised the Tower of Babylon, and that was my cold air intake. Boy, I was so excited when I was about to install the cold air intake, but I didn't want to spend 400 to 500 euros for a piece of tube that goes into your throttle body. Seriously. So I bought a cheaper one for 150 euros and it did the job perfectly. The sound was amazing, it still is amazing. Right after the cold air intake, I installed an oil catch can for 40 bucks. It does the job. I can't say more than that. It does the job that it's supposed to do. And then summer finally came, and the first thing that I wanted to do so badly was to tint my windows. I had the choice to go with a conventional foil or the hybrid one. So after seeing the advantages of a hybrid foil, I decided to go with the hybrid one. So my hybrid tinted foil cost me 180 euros. Was it worth it? Oh my god, man, the sex is amazing. And then came the period where my engine bay had the same amount of daily visits as a Taiwanese street prostitute. So to solve the issue of always putting the stick up to hold the hood, I decided to order some bonnet dampers. And also it looks so much better having the dampers hold up the hood than having that, stick hold it up like we're in the 60s. So I went ahead and bought the bonnet dampers for 120 euros, including shipping. So if you're interested on how I installed the bonnet dampers, there will be a video in the description. And then came the period where I started having check engine lights and I didn't know what they were for. So to solve this problem, I bought an OBD2 scanner, which was 7 euros. So now I can connect it with my phone, see what the check engine light is about. Is it serious? Is it not? Should it be fixed right away? So it makes your life really easier and less stressful. Basically, you can do a lot of things that you can't do by just watching the engine or take it to a mechanic to have it scanned for a lot of dollars just to find out that it's something simple you can fix. So for 7 euros, Jesus Christ, man. The next upgrade was a handling upgrade, and that was my front and rear strut tower bar. Was it worth the money? Yes. How much did I pay? 120 euros. Next up was my reverse oil switch, which actually happened before the strut tower and everything, but I decided to fix it later because why? I don't even know why. So I started seeing a small leak under my car near the transmission. At first I thought it was the transmission, but after inspecting it I saw that it was this switch which had a cable that was all oily. So I decided to buy a new one. It was 80 euros, I've installed it, and now I don't have any more oil leaks. So if you have oil leaks coming from under your transmission, check out my video on the reverse switch, see if this is the issue and fix it, because it's basically really easy to fix. The next thing was the dyno, which was 50 euros, and the dyno results make sense now that I've tested my compression, so it was worth to test the power of the car to see where you're at. The next thing that bothered me so much were the connectors on the battery, where you have to unscrew them to take them out. Seriously, man, this car was made in 2004. My Peugeot 307 had quick release connectors for the battery. This car cost almost 30,000 euros and it didn't have them. Dude! So I bought these quick release connectors for, what were they, 2 euros, maybe 3 euros. I've installed them and now I can take off and on the connectors in a split second. So if you're still struggling with the original medieval connectors, I strongly suggest you check out the videos where I install the connectors and give it a try. They will make your life a hell of a lot easier, and not to mention they will look better. And then things started to get hard in my pants, so I decided to buy a decat. I paid 160 euros for it, I've installed it. It smells pretty bad, I won't deny it. But at least my idle got better. I shoot flames out of my exhaust in the night. You can hear it, you can hear that pop every time you change gears on a higher RPM. So overall, it was an upgrade worth doing. And finally, the last upgrade I did a couple of days ago was to install a USB aux adapter. The USB and aux upgrade has to be in the top 3 best things I've ever done to my Rx8. Now I can finally listen to YouTube videos, I can put a lot of music on my USB and just change it every time I want. So how much did I pay for this upgrade? 60 euros. So now if we sum up all the repairs and upgrades, we have a total of 2,484 euros, which is not that much if you consider how many things and upgrades I did to my Rx8. And obviously we didn't include maintenance of the car, which is approximately, let's say, 100 to 120 euros per year. So let me know in the description how long have you had your Rx8 and how much money did you spend on it in that period. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, as always, give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you don't want to miss out on new Rx8 videos.